Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is not Alex W. I need to rename my screen here. Welcome to our September community broadcast. I'm Mark Loranger, the president and CEO of Chrysalis. It's good to virtually see so many of you back again today. We started these community broadcasts many months ago to try to keep our community in touch with what's going on at Chrysalis and share information that we think is important for all of you to know. And so today we are really fortunate to be joined by members of our staff that are directly involved in helping reopen our centers to really get us back moving as Southern California recovers from this pandemic and all the details that go into doing that for our organization. As we've talked about over many months, we have been operating in primarily a virtual mode as far as our programming goes, but this summer we began shifting that. In July, we began testing, having clients back in our office, and then in August, we began inviting clients back to all of our offices on a appointment basis and began providing in-person services. And now we're moving into a mode of opening our doors more broadly to the community so that we can provide the services that we know that they need, and particularly as we begin to recover from this. But it's not easy, as you can imagine. Every business is going through the challenges of doing this, things like vaccine mandates or testing mandates. In the case of our work here at Chrysalis, we introduced a testing requirement that you're exempt from if you are vaccinated. That began a couple of weeks ago, and I'm happy to say that over 85% of our staff is vaccinated, and that number is climbing. So we've hosted vaccine clinics at our offices, communicated a lot with the community, with our clients, with our staff about the importance of vaccines and public health safety, and we think we're making progress. But today we wanted to share a little bit about how exactly we are doing that. So I'm really privileged to be joined by four of the professionals I get the opportunity to work with every day. Justin is our Assistant Vice President for Program Operations, who oversees a large part of our program. Josh is our Senior Site Director at our downtown office. And gentleman works on community outreach efforts. And so I would like to welcome all of them to join us on screen here.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for that, Mark.
Take it away. I'm going to take myself off camera and rename myself. Oh, someone did it for me. Thank you very much.
Look at that. Okay, I'm going to share my screen real quick. So, hi, folks. As Mark mentioned, I'm Justin Thongswan. My pronouns are he, him, and his. And I'm the Assistant Vice President of Program Operations, overseeing our Downtown Center, Chrysalis Outdoors, our Breaking Barriers program, and the Sector program. I'm going to go ahead and let Josh introduce himself real quick.
Yes, thank you. My name is Josh Gazahin. Sounds like design. And I've been the Senior Site Director for over 18 months now, and I've been with Chrysalis for about 3 years. I oversee the downtown location and look forward to speaking with you all shortly.
Awesome. So just a little bit of an agenda for today, what Josh and I are going to share about. We are going to dive into additional in-person services in the sense of what does it mean and what does that even look like? We'll talk about what are the services that we're offering during AIPS. And like many other orgs during the pandemic, we've pivoted and reduced barriers to access around our programming. So we want to be able to share what does our programming look like now in a hybrid world, and also talk more about how a new client can be onboarded during this time, and finally share a little bit more about the successes of the new hybrid model that we've been toying around with. So as I mentioned, as we are all aware, our clients face a diverse set of barriers, and our goal with additional in-person services is to really give technological access to clients who are not able to connect to our services via phone or the computer, and to welcome new clients in person. As Chrysalis continues to operate in a hybrid model, clients will be able to access our centers to join our program, to meet with their employment specialists, and to work towards finding employment. What that means is since August, our centers have been open on an appointment-only basis, and actually effective this week, our centers are also accepting walk-ins. So particularly for downtown, that means that downtown is open Tuesday through Thursday for clients. Our Santa Monica and San Fernando Valley offices are open Tuesday and Thursday for clients. And then finally, our Orange County office is open Monday and Thursday for clients. I also want to note that all of our sites are open on Friday for for clients to pick up resources and for paycheck distribution. What we're doing to make it safe. As Mark has previously mentioned, safety is on the forefront of our minds. We as an organization are taking every precaution we can to ensure that staff, clients, and the community are safe, which is why we've kept it to a limited capacity in our centers to ensure that we are able to socially distance when needed. And we're also encouraging scheduling appointments when possible, and as it allows us to better plan for capacity and for space. And prior to providing services to clients, we are asking each person who enters the center health screening questions and taking their temperature as well, which is recommended by the CDC. As Mark mentioned, we currently require staff to either test for COVID regularly unless they're vaccinated, and we are also keeping records of who comes into our centers for contact tracing purposes. A little bit more about the services that we currently offer. At our virtual stations, clients can meet one-on-one virtually with their employment specialists to participate in job readiness courses and also take resume or interview writing workshops. In the computer lab, clients will have access to a reliable computer and internet access, allowing them to independently work on employment-related activities such as online trainings, checking emails, and applying for jobs. Additionally, we will continue to provide clients with mail service and distributing much needed resources, and also provide the intake of new clients in person. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Josh at this time so he can share a little bit more about the hybrid model and how we've helped clients during this time.
Thank you, Justin. So again, good afternoon, everyone. When we're talking about hybrid programming, I think one of the things that we're seeing with clients is, one, they're checking to see if we're available in person. So when a client walks up to our downtown center, they're able to receive assistance with anything that has to do with whether or not they need an ID voucher or access to our computer lab, as mentioned already, or even a lot of clients that walk up to us and they say, hey, I know you're doing a lot of virtual programming, but I don't have a phone. In those instances, we can either provide assistance to get a phone through one of the general providers, or we will also send them to locations where they can get a free phone if they are eligible for those kind of programs. So I think a key connection to clients during this virtual hybrid reality has been connecting clients to us no matter what barriers they may have, providing business cards or other things that they can call us with. If it's easier for them to come back and do in-person applications, then they can walk into our center, grab a paper app, fill out that paper application. For some clients, it makes them feel better to know that they wrote down their information. So in those instances, we'll do that as well. One of the recent successes that we have begun to see in our centers is clients can walk up, just kind of like in the old days, sign up for our program, also attend a virtual assessment in one of our virtual stations. And then after that point, they can also attend class right there in one of those classes. We do have some volunteers that have already started to come into the center as well, and I'm sure others will talk about that. And then if a client then at that point still wants to do additional things in person, they can then see an ES or one of us from the management team or someone at the front desk that can guide them in their job search. Our computer lab is open. It is open. I know we're talking about walk-up hours, but as a general rule, the downtown center is open Monday to Friday. What that means is clients can walk up at any time between 8 to 4 and check their mail, receive any resources that has been ordered for them, whether that's uniform, interview clothing, any packages that may have been ordered for them as far as resources for jobs. We're also doing a lot of food voucher assistance still. So if a client just starts working and they need some assistance, just making sure that they're not that they're able to provide for their family, they're able to pick up food vouchers, excuse me, as well as gas cards and other things. So I'm noticing some questions in the chat, and we definitely will answer that once we get through the presentation. And so thank you for the questions. Keep them coming. Overall, our goal, as you can see in there, is just meeting clients where they are. When a client walks up, what is it that you need? How can we assist? How can we assist you in your journey to self-sufficiency? A lot of times that can just be a simple thing as a California DMV ID voucher so that they can get their ID and be on their way. Or sometimes a client just needs employment verification because their Section 8 application has now been approved. So those are just some of the examples. Next slide. Or do I have control? Okay. We did a survey in June because we really wanted to know what our clients wanted from us as we began to reopen. And just to make sure that we're in tune with their needs. And so this survey was sent out in June, and roughly 195 people responded, which is about 11% of our client base. So a good response rate, and 73% of our clients indicated that they are working. Next slide. Sorry, keep going. And then when asked if they felt equipped with the technological access that they need, I think 76% said that. And then if you're not currently job searching, why not? I thought this was a very interesting. There was a lot of qualitative information, but one of the main concerns still was COVID-19, obviously, and just whether or not a client was receiving unemployment benefits and that they wanted to wait until they started job searching. A lot of our clients were also facing some medical reasons, such as recent injuries or things that they were tending to. And then the rest were an array of reasons. Next slide. What areas do you need support in? And we found that this is kind of consistent theme before the pandemic and even now is receiving higher wages and full-time employment. So whether that is through our transitional jobs or more preferably through outside jobs that provide even higher wages, our clients are definitely looking for more full-time employment, more higher wages. And some of the things that we're doing now to respond to these needs is putting together resource fairs, whether it's flyers that are out in the transitional job sites or specific things that clients can attend in virtual setting, or we're also putting together some actual resource fairs that will take place in the downtown center and also at the industrial bids coming up in October, just to respond to some of these things that we're hearing from clients in areas of better jobs and better paying jobs. Next. So just to give you a snapshot of what has taken place in the past 8 months or so, we've assessed over 1,000 new clients, and 702 of them have attended our job preparation classes. This is just for the downtown center. 677 have completed resumes. Over 500 clients have obtained outside jobs. That means non-Chrysalis related jobs, not transitional jobs, but permanent jobs. And then over 395 of our clients have newly been referred to a transitional job. In addition, current active clients count is at 1,861, and clients served year to date is 2,756. So this just gives you a snapshot of kind of the traffic and activity that we are seeing in the downtown center. We are continually trying to provide and really refine our program so that it's meeting clients where they are and that it's more accessible to more clients and really provides us the kind of service that they're looking for. Onboarding during this time, I briefly mentioned it earlier, is basically a potential client can either call directly to one of our hotlines, and what then happens is they give just a few basic information like their name, phone number, and just some identifying information. At that point, our client services coordinator will look up to see if they're already a previous client or they're a brand new client, and then we will move them forward into the orientation and assessment process, which can all be done over the phone. But as I mentioned earlier, if a client prefers, they can also come to the center and do it from a virtual station, or also attend classes which take place in the center virtually or once a week in person. Client also receives a call to complete assessment and begins working. Client without phone receives assistance to obtain a cell phone. Next slide, please. What we're looking towards is offering more job preparation classes in person, and they are reaching out to our volunteers to see how we can make that more of a reality. More virtual and in-person assessments. Currently, most of our clients are still assessed over the phone. So for those who some clients have come up to us and they say, I just really hate being on the phone. And in those instances, we want to make sure we're providing more access to clients so that they can receive specific specific services in person. And then in addition, we're really trying to expand our capacity to be able to do more online job applications. A lot of our clients have technological barriers. And in those instances, they definitely want to be able to have someone next to them that can assist them in their job search, especially if it's a very complex application for jobs like Caltrans. In the past, we've done jobs with, even if it's like a census job or some of these more complicated applications can have a lot of barriers because the client has to provide a lot of information online. And in those instances, we want to make sure we provide online job applications. Okay, and the final slide, I just want to give you a snapshot of some of the stories that we've been hearing from clients. One of the programs that we have participated in this virtual reality is CAP, which is the Community Assistance Parking Program. And clients that have tickets and they can't renew their registration and they can't get income for them or for their families because their car registration is expired and they can't do DoorDash, Uber, or some other jobs that they may want to do with a vehicle. We've been partnering with CAP and LA DOT to provide community hours where a client comes in and essentially signs up just like a brand new client, receives all of our program, and those hours count towards their community hours, and they're able to get those tickets written off. To date, we've served about 20 clients in this program, and each of them have done something like 12 to 14 hours of community service hours. And as a result, they've been able to renew their licenses, and many of them have continued with our programs to obtain jobs or better jobs. In addition, one of the biggest success stories when it comes to resources is the EFSP grant. A lot of our clients, they come in and they may be at risk of losing their housing, or they recently found housing that they want to move into. An EFSP grant, which is through the Government CARES Act, provides us the ability to provide them rental assistance for at least 1 month, and it can be up to $1,500. And that has been a huge success story. To date, I would have to pull the numbers, but a very low estimate of at least 200 clients have been helped, have been supported in this program. In addition, we've been able to provide a lot of legal aid and other services to clients who are facing maybe one client that comes to mind. His name is Terrence. He walked to our center literally just about a month ago because he was injured on the job and thought he was laid off and wasn't going to be able to continue working. He met with his employment specialist who happened to be in the office that day. They were able to begin the process. He went and found medical assistance. We used just the WIN app, to look up some local area hospitals that he can go to, set up the appointment. The client got the treatment that he needed. Now he's back to work just a month later. And that's just some of the success stories. And at that point, when he came to our center, he didn't even have crutches and he was kind of limping into the center. So there's just been so many different stories and different barriers that clients are facing. And if you were in Los Angeles right now, it's extremely hot outside. So a lot of our clients that have been walking to the center today, for example, it's been nice to just allow them to come in, cool down, use the computer lab, get what they need, and then they're able to charge their phone and kind of go on their way and make sure that they're receiving the services that they need. So I can go on and on, but that's some of the example of what we're doing. And I'll turn it now over to Jenilyn to talk about some of the community outreach. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I am Jenilyn Santos. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the community engagement coordinator, or one of them, for Chrysalis. I've been here for almost 3 years, and that time has flown by. But as a part of the community engagement team, I am very privileged to represent Chrysalis throughout LA and Orange County. And so as a team, our goal is to ensure that Chrysalis has an active presence and is engaging with partners and community members throughout both counties. We're also actively working with partners to increase the amount of external resources available to Chrysalis clients. So as of June this year, after over a year and some change of time, our team began doing more in-person outreach. Previously, it was all virtual, all Zoom, as I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. But going back into in-person outreach has included hosting presentations, returning to resource fairs, events at libraries, tabling events at housing partners, such as tiny homes, shelters, and community events. And to support the community, we've also expanded our outreach services to include flyer drop-offs, program enrollment, and orientation overviews. And this is something that was kind of just us trying to make sure we were meeting the clients where they're at, just like our client services team. We wanted to make sure we were providing that same, those same resources, right? And so recently, which has been really great, I was able to visit PATH, one of our community partners, at one of their new shelters that opened during COVID. So it was really great to, one, see the new shelter. It's beautiful, but also to meet clients where they're at, like we were saying, to be able to not only do a presentation or a orientation overview for the clients, but to do a program enrollment if a client or an individual wanted to sign up that day. It also was really great because for some clients, they don't want to call, like Josh had mentioned, if they don't have a phone or if they don't feel comfortable using the phone, that's totally fine. That's why we want to go out into the community to make sure we're providing that safe space for them to ask any questions, answer, or just seeing a face of Chrysalis, right? That can be like a huge difference to someone that is wanting to receive services. So it was really great experience to do that. I was there for a few hours, which is really great for my first in-person outreach event. But yeah, so these services can still be provided virtually. We don't have to do them in person if, you know, a partner is still maybe not welcoming guests onto their sites. Totally fine. I'm still able to do the orientation overview and program enrollment with residents, even if it is over Zoom. So beyond our hotline and email enrollment, community partners can refer clients via our referral form, which is on our website. So if you go to changelives.org/outreach, you can see all of our flyers. We have them in English and Spanish. And then we have a referral form that can be sent directly to myself, which I will put my information in the chat, or our client services email address. So if you would like more information, again, I will put my information into the chat. But thank you so much for your time. And I just want to welcome Mark back onto the screen.
Gentlemen, thanks so much. You've only been with Chrysalis 3 years. It seems like you've been with us for 10 years. Your depth of knowledge is amazing. Thank you. You were with us when we first opened Orange County, right?
I was. We called them Chrysalis years, remember? So 3, 10.
Especially this past year. And Josh and Justin, thanks for sharing your perspective. So we've had a few questions come in, and I'll try to get through them quickly because we've got about 5 minutes here. Gentlemen, if somebody says, I would love to have a presentation from somebody at Chrysalis about your programs and how they might help our community, who should they contact?
Me.
Oh,
but yeah. That is me, or someone else on your team. But to make it easier for everyone, I will put my information in the chat. So if you have any questions about events or referring clients, please, anyone reach out to me. I'm happy to help.
Okay. Another question that we got, and Justin, I'll direct this one to you. With health and safety in mind, we talked about what we're doing for staff. What about for clients? How are we? Do we have a vaccine requirement, testing requirement? What are we doing there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Chrysalis is not requiring clients or community members to be vaccinated prior to entering the sites. But as I previously mentioned, we are still taking every precaution that we can. And what that means is we are asking clients and community members to wear PPE. So that means wear a mask when you come to our centers. And as you are greeted in our centers, we'll ask you a quick 3-question health screening questions, and also take your temperature, which is, as I previously mentioned, all recommended by the CDC so that we can ensure everyone's safety.
Thank you. Josh, you had mentioned you had a slide that had some numbers on it in terms of the number of new clients that we've seen this year. And one of the questions was, how does that compare to a pre-COVID year?
Yeah, thanks. I looked up 2019 and we served about 1,500 clients year to date at that point. So that's a comparison point, about 1,500 clients, 2019, about over 1,000 clients this year. And then currently active clients, I mentioned there are 1,800 active clients in downtown.
Great. So we have seen a drop off, not surprisingly, given the surveying and given the limitations just in how we can operate, but still 1,000 is a lot of new clients in the few months that we've had this year so far. There was a question from Cindy about how do clients receive workbooks? Workbooks are an important part of the curriculum, the first part of our program with clients. If they're not coming into the offices, how do they get it?
They receive them via email, so we do have the workbook as a PDF. But in addition, if a client would like a physical copy, we have some at our centers, so they can pick one up as well.
Got it. There was another question that actually, Justin, maybe you can take this one because it kind of relates to what we do with our sector program. Do we provide grants to pay for vocational training?
We do. It obviously is dependent a little bit more on like what is the training exactly and a few other detailed questions like that. But what I would encourage is if there are folks who are interested in that, please come to our centers, sign up, become a client, and then we'll be able to work with you to really figure out what the need is and how we can best support you.
Great. Let's see here. I'm just scanning through the questions here. How many appointment slots do we have at our downtown office, for example?
So we have roughly 8 computer lab slots and then about 6 virtual stations. So all of those can be booked every hour throughout our business hours. And then that's not counting any, if someone is just here to fill out an application, we kind of have a separate area that they can use to just sit there and fill out the application. So we've yet to reach capacity. I think our clients come at different times for different needs, and it's not always to occupy a computer for an hour. So right now we have plenty of slots available. Got it.
Thanks, Josh. You know, I had mentioned earlier that I think I mentioned that we've done two vaccine clinics at our downtown office, and we got good response. The first one we had 26 people go through. The second time I think it was 14. And there are a number of other vaccination events happening around the community. Gentlemen, Josh, Justin, for any of you that want to weigh in, what are you hearing from our clients in terms of hesitancy or their acceptance of vaccines? What's the buzz on the street? I know no one wants to take this one, but we're in a safe place here.
For me, Mark, I was a little bit surprised because a lot of our clients came up, and Justin was there at the same time as well, and they're like, "I'm here for the booster shot," and we're like, "Well, actually, we're doing the vaccine." They're like, "I've had that for years." It seemed like. So I thought that was an interesting take.
Yeah, I think similar to what Josh mentioned, our clients are really just hungry and ready to kind of return back to what was a pre-COVID normal, right? And for many of them, if that means getting the vaccine, and as Josh mentioned, the excitement around like, when can I even get a booster? The fact that we had to rein in and be like, hey, you have to wait just a little bit longer before you can get a booster unless you fall into a certain category was really, really telling to me.
Yeah, I think that the data is a little bit hard to come by in terms of, for example, the Skid Row area or some of the other populations in terms of the vaccination acceptance rate. But I suspect from our anecdotal experience, it might be higher than we actually think, which we all need to be able to get through this as fast as possible. I see we are at 3:30 on the nose, and at Christmas, we like to start on time and end on time to respect everyone's time. Gentlemen, Josh and Justin, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Mallory and Angelica, thanks for helping organize this. And thanks to all of you in the audience today for joining us again and for your continued support of our work. Have a great afternoon, everybody.